music in general and just those expressions that go along with hip hop, I think are part of a long continuum in terms of they at times help heal, they at other times help navigate, at other times they are sources of income, they're inspirational, they are bridge builders, there are a number of things. I don't like to simplify any of these expressions, and I'm using the word expression very deliberately, into these little categories of, that make sense for commodification. I think that's a challenge we have, but I look at these as what are the ways in which we as Black people express ourselves, and I choose the expressions that are surrounding hip hop as my forms of expression. And so, what role has it played? It's meant everything. It's a part of me. It's how I live my life. It's what informs me. It's who I am. And I don't mean it to be cliche like I am hip hop, but I'm saying that to take away those expressions or limit them would really be taking, in essence, something away from me. It's like taking the drums away from us as Black people. It's taking the song away from us as Black people. It's taking our willingness and desire to move away. You take away a key essence of who we are. I think it plays a tremendous role. You're talking about, if you're talking about just in terms of the music, you're talking about probably the biggest genre of music in the world right now is hip hop. If you're talking about what's informed current types of music, all types, from the EDM things that are very popular around the globe to, just what you hear on the radio to what populates nightclubs and everything. Hip hop has been that genre. If you're talking about what informs several generations of musicians, they can't perform without talking about the role that hip hop has played. It informs the new soul, it informs the new funk, it informs so much of who we are. If you go beyond that, if you talk about the bridges that have been built and the global perspective that several generations have, most would attribute it to the type of engagement they have in hip hop. The way that the dancers and the DJs have, been all around the world and are known all around the world is crucially important, and it's attributed to that culture. If you look here in the city of Oakland, look at some of the biggest ambassadors that are known around the world, whether it's Souls of Mischief, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, the MC Hammers, the Digital Undergrounds. If you want to talk about the activism from the Van Joneses to the Boots Rileys to the Mark Bamuthi Josephs, you can go down a whole long list and pull out the names, and you find that their activity has been rooted in the culture, somehow, some way. This president owes his presidency twice to the role of hip hop in the generation that has come around it. I mean, his organizing is very much centered in what we do within hip hop. When you really think about it, the open sourceness of it, the use of culture, and the way that artists, use their status to shout him out and to inspire and to encourage. We forget that it was the Jay-Z's and the David Banners and the Diddy's that were bringing thousands of people to register to vote and all that. So it's inescapable at this point in time. You're talking about something 40 years deep. So you go around the world and you talk to people, what they know is the art. They know the expressions that are around. Even the professions that we don't consider art. Muhammad Ali, probably the most recognized figure in the world. It's art the way he was boxing. It's art the way he carried himself. It's art that made him such a popular figure. Yeah, his skill set was boxing. There's a lot of good boxers, but there ain't nobody who had that, what we call swagger, that energy. And that's what really, that's what this is about for us. And I think there's been attempts over the years to study our art, if you want to use that word, confine it. I mean, the FBI, they have agents talking, going back to the 70s. And they say very specifically, we study black culture. We study everything about it. We have more information on it than the Schomburg Museum. I mean, I'm not lying. You look it up on YouTube and you see it right there, Dark Heart Perry talking about that. And they said they study our art so that they can undermine and control the people. So that should tell you the power of it. When somebody like a Bob Marley is being pursued and followed by the CIA, that tells you the art is powerful. When you have censoring of artists from the Public Enemies on down to the Dead Prezes, and pick a group, and you find that their music has been redirected or remarketed to other people. What's that about? They understand there's power to it. So without art, you have lack of inspiration, lack of imagination. Dr. King talks about there's no civil rights movement if it's not for the music and it's not for the people who are presenting the music during its heyday. I'm not making this up. He actually says this. He attributes the success of it to the artistic expressions that come from our people. He says it brought people together and did something Alexander the Great couldn't even do. He said there is no integration, there's none of this. You have Harvard studying our art so they can defang it and integrate it and take it over. So for us, the art is everything. Go to a church, we won't call the gospel and spirituals art. We have our own names for it, but society looks at it and go, that good singing and that good movement is what? It's art, it's who we are. So taking away the art is taking away the air that we breathe, taking the water that we drink. It'd be a very boring world without it.